I had like three different thoughts run through my head of lines to open the show with, but instead of
You want
just
to know what my thought
committing
was?
to anyone, I just didn't do any of them.
You'll like my thought.
Okay, what's your thought?
I thought you looked you. It's like you look pretty cool in like in like you know, you got the grungy beard, you got the hair swept away to the side. You for some reason you're wearing gloves, you know, and it's just like you look like some JRPG protagonist.
This is me now.
You know what? Actually, oh my god, I know what you look like. Did you ever play The Bouncer? That's what it was called. The
No,
Bouncer.
I don't think so.
PS2, The Bouncer.
I need.
You look exactly like you belong in that game. Just Google The Bouncer PS2 and you'll come up with
Oh no.
just the very first image is a very JRPG fella, but he's got the gloves on. You could be one of those characters. That game is full of there's like 16 different
Dude,
characters in that.
I don't think I've ever heard of or seen this cover before. Like, I think of myself as someone who's pretty like deep into games and like old games and knows just a lot about the industry. This feels like a complete blind spot to me. I've never seen this before in my life. Maybe I've seen like an X
actually a pretty sick game. I even played it multiplayer with my cousins. We actually played. It had a versus mode.
It's like a beat 'em
as well
up.
as the story mode. Yeah.
Oh, this is from SquareSoft too. Like before.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is.
Mugetsu. I still remember that. He does this weird circle attack. Anyway, hopefully all of you guys are able to Google that. Otherwise,
Everyone's driving right now, or at the gym, or everyone's at home. Everyone couldn't tab away.
just
from their
remember
Dota
to
game.
Google it. And someone tweet at me if you played that game. Remember that game. The Bouncer was a good game, man.
I have gloves on because I should take them off, but it's just gonna be like ASMR for the like. I should cut this. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good Velcro. Yeah. Because
Why do you have gloves on?
I was mid workout right before we started recording,
Oh.
and then I didn't take the gloves off now because I wanted to look like a JRPG character basically. So now here I am, but they're gone. I'm off. I got little marks on my wrist. I'm trying to. I don't like I'm sensitive and I don't like to have calluses on my hands because my weights have metal grips. So I like to lift weights with gloves. I feel like it's better.
Just kind of develop calluses, man.
That's what
That way
says.
you give somebody a handshake, it shows them that you're capable of a hard day's work.
But they should be able to see that just with my massive arms. They should be able to be like, wow, that guy knows how to eat a lot of food and maybe lift some of it, and his genetics are probably decent. Man, I'm getting inspired. I found out that I have a great aunt once removed, which is a complicated way of saying my grandma's brother's daughter. I found out that she's a bodybuilder.
Oh.
I saw some pictures today on Facebook of her at a competition, mostly because the rest of my family was gossiping about them. And I'm like, why do you should be happy for her. Look at how great she looks. Everyone's like, oh, it's really inappropriate that she's wearing a bikini on Facebook. Fuck that. I found out that I have like a great aunt who's a bodybuilder. And I'm like, fuck, if she can do that, I should go lift some weights. And then I started lifting weights. So, thanks, Allison.
Go.
Can you?
Great Aunt Allison or whatever her.
That's what it is. Can you claim to have abs if you don't have all six?
Well, all 8. Dude, if I was like really really in shape, that's what I would have said. Like, no, actually, it's only until you have all 8. Yes. I mean, not really. You can't say I. Yeah, you could probably say if you've got like the top like 4, but you still got like a little bit of pudge that they just like a little bit. Like you're almost there.
I'm gonna send you a picture. I really should have done this before I started the show because I'm trying to figure out if I can claim that I have abs or not because I can visibly see and feel the top 4, but as soon as you get below those top 4, it's a disaster. Like nothing else exists under there. But like the top 4 are visible with some good lighting helps, but they're visible. And I don't know if I can say, hey, I have abs now. I've been trying to figure that out for a couple of days. So
just dehydrate yourself a whole lot,
or just like take a fillet knife and then just do some liposuction on myself, like to show the other two.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you can do that.
I fantasize about that often. It's a really intrusive thought that I have. I know that we're really going on a tangent here to start, which shouldn't be much more different than normal, right? But like, I have an intrusive thought all the time where I just take like a kitchen knife, like a sharp kitchen knife, and somehow like fillet fat off of my stomach. Like I just cut it off.
I don't think that it's that unusual. I think a fair amount of people think to themselves like, if I could just if I could just straight up remove that bit right there,
Yeah, like if you're taking the skin off a fish, I just imagine you just kind of like go into the skin a little bit and then just do like a little fillet work and then like slop the extra out. Like what could really go wrong? A lot of things. The answer's a lot of things.
A lot of it.
If we can stop talking about my body for a second, I can stop being self-conscious and I can just comment on the fact that you look different every time I've seen you for the past like 2 or 3 weeks now. There was no hair and beard, and now there's like some hair. I stopped shaving, but mustache, and now there's no mustache. And then there was like a Halloween thing where I think you were Zoidberg maybe, and now you look like you're 12 again. So like it's been a real roller coaster for the for the visuals on Cap over stream.
Can you do me a favor and rate my I linked you to Instagram, my facial hairs because you did this when you shaved. You sent me pictures of you with silly facial hairs.
Okay, hold on. I gotta grab it on my phone.
I did the 3, right? I did the goatee, right? And then I did the hillbilly Fu Manchu thing. And then I did the 70s cop mustache. I think I could actually pull off a mustache.
Okay, so here's my thought in order. I think that they get better as you scroll through them. I would be less excited to associate with you in public. By the way, anyone, Dota Capitalist on Instagram, you can go look at these pictures right now, and you should probably follow them.
Are you saying the hillbilly Fu Manchu
no.
is better than the goatee?
No, I think the hillbilly Fu Manchu... Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. I do think the hillbilly Fu Manchu, because like that feels like you're either like a hipster or like intentionally doing something, especially around the area you live in. Like that's like a choice where you're either trying to be silly or funny or like an alternate way of cool, right? Like sure. I think you can live with that. I'm pretty sure this picture, I know that you're like putting your face in a funny way, but it looks slightly uneven, which I don't think is helping.
It probably was a little bit uneven, yeah.
The goatee looks like the guy you don't want to sit next to in the PTA meeting.
Yeah.
Like you probably just had 2 PBRs before driving here and you're happy you didn't get pulled over. Like I don't know if I can really condone the goatee. That being said, I feel like it's really rare that I like a goatee on people.
Yeah. The goatee's a douchey look for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think the goatee's great. I think the mustache you can definitely do. I think mustaches are coming back around. I think we're gonna see more and more.
I could definitely be a cop with a mustache.
You could. I feel like you do need that other accessory though. Like I'd be curious, like what a good hat with the mustache would look. I'm sure aviators would go great, or anything that feels like beachy or like traditional douchey white person. I feel like the mustache could happen. I also think that you're low key just showing off your traps in all these pictures. That's the real thirst trap here. Everyone's like, wow, he's got good neck muscles.
The truth is that this was for Halloween. So I had the illithid octopus costume deal that you saw. And that is easier to apply if I didn't have facial hair. And I was just like, fuck it. I'll just shave it off. So I just kind of on a whim did it in the morning. And I was mid shaving it off. And I was like, I never actually see what I would look like with a mustache. And I was like, well, before I mustache, I'll do the goatee. And then I was like, after the goatee, I was like, wait a minute. I got to get to the hillbilly look in there. And I learned from all of that I could pull off a mustache. Ellie's response to the goatee was that she was like, you still look really good, but you look like, I don't know how to describe it. And I was like, really douchey? And she's like, yeah. Yeah. No, nobody really pulls off a goatee. The only person I know is my dad who pulls off a goatee.
It also has to grow in, right? Like when I tried the goatee thing, like I think maybe also both of us did it when our hair was a little bit too long. I think you're benefited when it's a little bit of a shorter goatee sometimes.
Oh yeah, the bushier the goatee is, the worse. Because at that point in time, you just look like an '80s supervillain.
Yeah, I've officially gotten to the point with my head hair that I've been saying for a while now that I'm gonna cut and it's annoying, but it's like at the point where it's at the perfect part of my neck where it's itchy and feels weird, and I'm just so not about it. Like every day I wake up and I think I'm just gonna take clippers to it. So it's really a dead man walking over here.
Yeah. It's kind of similar with the beard. I was just like, I should go clean shaven for the Halloween mask. It was growing out a little bit too much. So I was just like, well, I'll just go clean shaven. I haven't been clean shaven in a really long time. And I'm definitely going back to a beard again.
Dude, I like people giving you shit for looking like a child.
I just look too young without the beard. Also, the beard really makes up for my... I don't have like a terrible chin or anything, but it's not great either. And beards always fill up that jawline really nicely.
Yeah, it's not chiseled, right? Like I mean, it's not super square. It's just yeah. I'm not helping.
No. So.
Yeah, the clean. The reason why I actually never go clean shaven like that, and I always have something, is anytime I use a razor, it's just acne city. It's like acne and ingrown hair city. So I haven't been clean shaven like with a proper razor in probably like 6 or 7 years now, which feels like a forever.
I feel like it'd be remiss not to tell you that a proper skincare routine probably would take care of that.
You know Kyle's blog post about his skincare?
Vaguely. Yeah, vaguely.
He did a very as someone who also has acne problems, but definitely not as severe as Kyle did. I definitely empathize with a lot of the stuff that he wrote in that blog. And now every time I unnecessarily touch my face, I think of Kyle, and it's a very weird reaction that I have. It's like another intrusive thought. Like I don't want to be like scratch my forehead and be like, fuck, Kyle says I shouldn't touch my face again. Like that's such a weird thing to have in my head. I really need to get rid of that.
But yeah, Ellie sent me up with some stuff that is supposed to help with, because I get acne in the back of my head from hair, folliculitis or whatever that is, and she gave me some skincare stuff to take care of that. So if you want, Joey, Ellie's opening up her business. She can hook you up.
I'll have to come be a patron right in time for us to shut everything down again, because have you looked at those case numbers? Am I right? Fucking
not good.
God bless America.
Not good.
Did you do the Halloween thing just for the D&D stream? You weren't like going out trick or treating, right?
D&D stream, and then actually the way it started was that in that Discord group that you never come to.
Ping me, tag me, pull me in, forcefully grab me, like take me by the neck, like I'm a small.
Let's start. There are roles. Do you want to play? There's a whole bunch of games, and you can just basically tag into if you want to play Among Us or
I've tagged
Movie
myself
Night.
in them. I know, and I still don't respond as much. There was bad times. Charlie's asked me to play Mafia every weekend for 3 weekends, and like I'm running, like I've been working every time, or like at my parents' house, and I'm just like, fuck, Charlie's gonna stop asking me to like hang out with him because I just keep on saying no.
We watched Nightmare Before Christmas last night. Just had a little movie night.
It's fun
with some people. It's nice. But yes, it all started with basically people wanted to celebrate Halloween, so they decided they would play Mafia, and everyone would get dressed up for Halloween. So they basically had a Mafia call with everyone in costumes and such. And Charlie and Sheila both came over and got done up by Ellie. So I think Charlie ended up being a Romulan. Sheila was like some sort of dragon lady. I was the Cthulhu Illithid type thing, and then Ellie was an ape.
The ape was pretty good.
Which looked the best out of everything, I think. The ape turned out really well.
Makes sense that she would, give herself the best job, but that was a good
something like that.
Big fan of the Twitter post of you two. That was
Thank you.
That's an all-time picture that I think you'll cherish forever. No joke.
So it was fun. It was just like, I mean, I didn't actually get to play Mafia because I had D&D that was scheduled at the same time. So I just showed up for like 10 minutes and then had to go do some Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah,
I felt oddly depressed on Halloween. A super uplifting story. I felt oddly depressed on Halloween, and I laid outside on a hammock and listened to podcasts for 2 hours. It was great. I went on a nice jog through my neighborhood around the time that generally trick-or-treating commences, because I was curious just like what the state of the world was going to be in. Because I live, in kind of a residential, semi-suburban area, and I'm like, okay, surely there's going to be, kids out and things are going to be happening, right? But houses across the board, lights off. People trick-or-treating, almost zero. Zero. I was so impressed by the commitment, because I do think that trick-or-treating's probably a bad idea right now, all things considered, and I was just impressed with like the basically the calling off of the holiday. I think it was kind of interesting. Now, there was people who did leave candy out pretty close to the curb, so you didn't have to go up to their house. And on my run, that means that I, for the first time in a very long time, technically I think went trick-or-treating, because I took a lot of candy from people's.
You were just jogging by, grabbed one out of every box that you saw.
No, seriously, I grabbed a pack of high chews from someone. Because they just had like a Costco pack of high chews. I'm like, I'm not going to pass up a full strawberry stick of high chews. Like, happy Halloween, motherfucker. I got like some Whoppers and some Starbursts and some, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna take a little candy right now. So yeah, actually, all things considered, my Halloween was rather juvenile.
Okay. Well, would you believe that I've never been trick-or-treating ever?
I'm gonna go with yes. I will believe that, unless you're trying to pull a real funny one on me here. But you've never been.
Joke's on you. I go every year.
Fuck, damn it! I'm so gullible.
I went yesterday, idiot.
What?
It wasn't even Halloween.
Where does that stem from? Were you like not in an area where that was conducive?
No, I never believed in Santa either. I was an only child. My mom's like, I don't think my mom like. It's not like a religious thing or anything. She was like, I don't think she saw a whole lot of sense in like lying to me about those sort of things. So I didn't believe in Santa.
What's there to lie? We can get to Santa in a second. What's there to lie about trick-or-treating? That's not just like an activity.
There's nothing to lie about on Halloween, but it's just like I just like we can just have candy at home. You ain't got to go out there and get candy.
I think you're justifying right now your mom robbing you of a childhood experience.
Yeah.
The no Santa thing, totally cool with that. Doesn't bother me for a second. I wish my parents were actually a little more progressive and were like, this is dumb. We did Santa for probably too long. The fucking spoilers for all the kids out there. Oh shit. But Halloween was always like a fun, like, oh, let's just go walk around the neighborhood and like just enjoy the night walking around with people and like hanging out and doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Never really, and it didn't bother me either. I would hand down candy like other kids, and it just didn't bother me at all. I was never that interested in it. Honestly, the biggest thing I hated about Halloween is that usually I had to go answer the door, and I was trying to play some video games. God damn it!
So not only did mom rob you of like a cornerstone American childhood experience, she also forced you to do labor instead. She's like, "Hey, honey, I have romantic novels to read and wine to drink. You need to give these kids out to kids. You need to give this candy out to kids."
I'd be like 10 years old handing out the candy to like 16, 17. You know, like the guys who are like too old to be still go trick-or-treating, but they still are, you know? When did you stop trick-or-treating?
Oof. I want to say middle school. Say middle school. So probably like 7th or 8th grade, which where's that put you? Like 13-ish?
I feel like once you can drive, you know, like once you're about that age of driving, you know, like maybe you don't need to be walking door to door to get candy from people. I mean, you know, if it's a social experience or having fun, but like I feel like mostly it's for the kids from 4 to 14, you know.
I used to be obsessed with like creating Rube Goldberg contraptions to like dispense candy on Halloween, and I would spend like hours as a child trying to figure out how to like rig up a system of like string and pulleys to be able to like drop candy onto people or like, you know, shoot it down PVC pipes from like the second story to have candy appear. And it was I never committed to any of them. I used to have all these memories of spending hours and hours and hours and hours being like, how am I going to distribute Halloween candy this year? And then doing none of it because none of them ever worked.
Well, I mean, at least you had the idea.
Right? Yeah, I know. I think that there was young me might have wanted to be
I was an
an
old
engineer.
man already at 14. I was like, these goddamn kids off my lawn. Can't they just leave us alone?
So then do you just generally feel like zero Festivus feelings towards Halloween or October or any of that?
No. I mean, to be honest, like I don't really care that much about most holidays.
Could you
Christmas is the only one that I still like enjoy, specifically New Year's Eve. Don't care. Halloween, not really. Thanksgiving, don't care. July 4th, don't care. Easter, who gives a shit? Any others?
No. Veterans Day.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I
think Memorial Day is actually the only day that I'll like actually say something on social media about the holiday. Like that's the only holiday I'll go out of my way to like make some sort of post about. All the other ones, fuck them.
I think Christmas like is so kind of forced on us through society that it feels extra special. Like it's the one day that we're supposed to treat as like super special, right? I always liked the 4th of July just because I like fireworks. So I was always a 4th of July fan, but just because I could see the big boom booms in the sky or like light fireworks off myself or like have a barbecue, not necessarily because America.
I'm sure I had this rant before, but you know I hate fireworks, right?
Oh no, dude. Oh fuck, dude. I think that we've
can't stand the loud popping noises.
I think that we've hit the point where I don't remember everything we've talked about. Because okay. I think
I ever tell you a story though of me, Toby, and Zoe, possibly one other, walking around in Frankfurt. I think it was the first ESL one in Frankfurt. And there was apparently there was something going on. And people had access to fireworks at that time. There was some sort of celebration or something, some sort of festival, something going on. And did I ever tell you this story?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you have.
Okay, so we're walking by. It was either Cologne or Frankfurt, and we're walking by some sort of like canal sort of deal, walking by this like sort of river walk deal, and there's these guys, a group of guys, and they had fireworks, and they were just kind of being dickheads with it, and we have to kind of like walk past them to go wherever we're going, trying to get back to our hotel, most likely from the venue. I think that's probably what it was, and like we try and get around. I think we had Zoe with us, and so like pretty girl, the guys like take an interest in us, and we start going basically the river walk. There was a hill, like just a regular street sort of hill, and with like a bunch of buildings, and we're gonna go up that hill area away from the river walk to try and get to our hotel. And the guys kept following us. And they kept on lighting fireworks and kind of throwing them in our direction. And I remember I just started getting so mad. I got so pissed off because I hate fucking fireworks. And I fucking hate dickheads. And I've got dickheads with fireworks following me. And I remember one got real fucking close. And like Toby and Tori were just like, come on. And I just fucking lost it. A firework came real close to me. I just fucking stopped. And I turned around and I was like, I'm going to fucking tackle one of these motherfuckers. Like, I'm going to do it.
Seeing red.
Yeah, I was fucking seeing red. And then I was like, I took a deep breath. They went another direction. They didn't keep following us. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I turned back around. We followed Toby and Zoe back to the hotel. But I remember I almost got arrested in Frankfurt or Berlin because of fucking some dickheads with fireworks. Oh, I hate them. I hate them so much. Another time I almost got hit in the dick with a firework in Berlin. First time I went out for New Year's Eve in Berlin, or second time I went out. Maybe third time? I don't remember.
It was definitely the fourth time. It was the fourth time you went out.
All I remember is I just remember the streets were fucking packed with smoke, and I was in one of those bigger open city center areas, and some fucking firework just shot off and bounced off my thigh. It was almost hit me in the dick. I would have been.
I love fireworks.
Why?
I love fire.
Just colors, loud noises.
I can't explain it. I can't they're pretty. They're like primordial. I like explosion. I've always enjoyed fire. Period. I've always liked playing with fire. I've always liked flames. I've always liked kind of concocting and crafting and building stuff and like light explosions. And
have you ever seen a laser show?
Not a proper one.
That comes with loud sound and colors, but they're cooler colors that form pictures, and the sound is music rather than loud, obnoxious explosions.
Pop, pop. What if I take a Roman candle to a laser show?
Roman candles I'm okay with. Those actually don't make an explosion noise, right?
Not really. I mean, some
boom, boom. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we used to go on the beach and have Roman candle duels.
All right, so the other firework that I actually like is the ones that spin around in a circle and go various colors as it spins.
Oh, those! Oh shit! What are those
and
called?
It's just a little tube, right?
Yeah, they're like flowers.
With the
like
fuse,
round flowers.
And you can throw them, you can chuck them, make them spin extra fast. We would I remember one time my dad and I would take those, very irresponsible, environmentally speaking, but we would take those and we would skip them across the water. We would wait for the fuse to get down a little bit more, and then we would try and skip it across the water to see if it would go off at the same time as it kind of hits the water. It made some very pretty effects. Granted, just blatant littering.
You also killed upwards of dozens of fish, but
Possibly. Don't do that. But just trust me that it looked really cool.
Yeah, no, I've always liked fireworks. I've never been a big Halloween person. Not as much as I have a lot of friends who are really into Halloween, so I feel Halloween like by like osmosis. It's like, oh hey, it's time to have a party. It's Halloween, but this year was like, oh no party because the world sucks. So it was just here. But I think, did Valve save us? Like, if you have zero Halloween feelings, do you have any Diretide feelings?
I definitely have feelings for Diretide. Diretide, Valve did a really good job with Diretide. Let me just say, excellent game mode. The sets that they put in, really cool stuff. My personal favorite of mine is Garfield Pudge. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah.
Garfield Pudge is pretty fucking funny.
I want like the legendary sniper one where he shoots purple bullets.
Legendary sniper one. Yeah. There's there's like a really cool Mars shield, whole bunch of stuff. But the sets are really cool. I don't know. I'm still not entirely certain because I don't think I've gotten a chest, but like I still don't know exactly how that chest key situation works. Apparently chests drop and then you have to buy the keys. So they brought back that. But I do appreciate, it feels like to me they're trying to make the Immortal sets more special. So unless you're crazy, you're going to spend $300, $400, $500 or something, you're not going to get all of those Arcana sets.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like Arcanas, like most people have them because if you have the Battle Pass with just a decent number of levels, you probably have gotten all of the Arcanas out of the chest,
Yeah.
It's like, I think they're trying to make them a little bit more special, which I appreciate. And hey, what do you know? Content brings people in. More people are playing some Dota, so that's cool.
I regret that I haven't actually gotten to play a round of the new Diretide yet. That's on my to-do list. I might even knock some out tonight finally and sit down and like happily play some. But I was enthralled by it. It feels like I wonder how long they've been working on this for, because the answer is like a while or at least a minute, but I wonder how much stuff that we're seeing is like directly a response to people kind of being grieved in the last month or two about the situation, because there's a lot of stuff here. Not only is there like a game mode that people not necessarily weren't expecting, there's like the return of the old chest key system. There's so many item drops across like all the different items you can want. I think there's like some Dota Plus stuff. Like it just feels like this is a large, substantial update without there actually, being a balance patch, right? So,
yeah, I just wish that because for me it feels like a little obvious. I don't know if this is actually true, but like whenever it comes to these sort of things, the workflow, it seems to me pretty obvious that there's only one thing that can get done at a time. When we get a really big content patch like this, when it comes to extra game mode or something like that, it means we have no like DPC content or anything like that. When we get like a really big patch of like spring update or something, we're not getting anything else but like fixes on bugs and stuff like that. Like so I'm really happy that we have this. I just wish that it would come with some sort of progression and the esports side of things. But I think it's great, and what it gives me a lot of hope is the fact that it looks to me like Diretide is supposed to go on until December 22nd, I think is the closeout date on like something. The expiration dates on like one of the things is December 22nd. And I really hope that means that they are already planning, okay, this is the Diretide season. We're going to leave Diretide in because it's a good game mode for all of November, some of December. And then we're going to bring in Frostivus for December. That'll be a nice 2-month thing. I'm hoping this means that we have some planned content going on during these Corona times, because it's, it sucks seeing your game, like seeing other games and like seeing their esports, like a bunch of content going on there, seeing like some in-game content. Oh, like League of Legends is getting their fucking another champions releasing. Look at the showcase reel that they have. Like
they also have 400 people working on that video game.
No doubt. I'm not saying like like the 4 employees working on Dota 2, like work harder. I wish that we had enough employees that we could do all of these things at once. But I think Valve did a fantastic job with Diretide. It looks really cool, and I hope they're planning on another game mode type thing for Frostivus.
I think you're right about Frostivus, and I'm interested for how long these I'm also happy that they're kind of they redesigned the client a little bit with the chess system and like how the progression works. Like it looks visually different. Like they're actually not just recycling stuff from battle passes or compendiums or whatnot. So it's like, oh, they care enough to make new stuff, and it's not just like, hey, let's recycle something, right?
You say recycling, but they've got the same goddamn. It's so funny. Like I can't hate on it at all, but it's so funny to me, like how every single one of these game modes and things, they always recycle the same assets that they've had before because like just work smarter, don't work harder, stupid. They have the same this time around. Like there's a ton of them, right? It's the exploding spider. We've seen the exploding spider like 5 different times in a row. But this one always gets me. It's the fucking seal thing that charges at you.
Gary.
It hops and stuns you. It was Gary? I don't know.
Yeah, Gary's its name.
Yeah, that thing has been in so many different game modes at this point in time. I don't even remember when it first showed up. But yeah, that thing's been around for forever, and it's in Diretide as well. It's one of the creeps.
I'm hoping that I think you're right that there's like a Frostivus plan. I am happy that Diretide's here. I think Frostivus will look very akin to Diretide, right? And then how long until people go back to, hey, so what about the DPC?
Wow. I'm not sure. Yeah, I got nothing to say about that, man. I fucking before, like, remember what I was saying, like, the Corona times, I was like, well, it feels kind of weird because it's been good for me because I had ESLs and stuff like that. Now I'm on the other side of things, where it's the Europeans getting hired for everything. ESL One has their Australia studio that they're hiring Australian talent. The Europeans are all getting hired because, well, everybody wants to run a European league. Omega League apparently isn't happening, it looks like to me. I have zero insider information about this, okay? But from the outside perspective, it looks like to me, Omega League, something went horribly wrong. That partnership, whatever it was between Epicenter and WePlay, I guess, like it looks like that just fell apart or totally fractured. And Epicenter just took the ball and is like, well, this is mine and I'm doing something with it. And so they're doing a European league. And I don't know, maybe Southeast Asia or something. All I know is they're not doing anything for NA. So I'm out of work for
there's
possibly the rest of the year.
There's a summit going on which has
I wasn't hired for that either. So
it has great
I'm out of work. Remember last time we had a conversation? It was entirely about my insecurities of my career and what's going to be happening next.
Yeah, dude,
this is not helping, Joey.
I mean, I hope that you saved a lot of your pennies from the first half of the year so that you can just have a really nice time. Just have a really nice time.
We're okay there. I'll talk to you in 2021.
You're like, okay, so it's now August 2021. I haven't worked in a year. Dude, yeah.
What am I doing?
No, it'll come back. It'll come back. Well,
that's why I need the DPC to come back, because like, if we have DPC, people can't afford to hire only Owen or only me. They can hire both of us.
You're just full-time streamer now, baby. I see all those castings. I see you being live every night.
I'm literally casting. I'm doing pub casting because I want to keep casting. Like, as in, like, I'm literally not doing it for viewership or anything like that. Not so much. I'm more doing it more than anything because, like, I just enjoy kind of watching Dota and talking about Dota. And I'm like, I haven't done it in a while. I need to like kind of scratch this itch a little bit and make sure I haven't like totally. I know I get rusty, man. I get rusty. So I gotta make sure that I don't get rusty.
So then what's your take on ESL and what happened at ESL? Because Secret lost to two, I was going to say shitty teams. Secret lost to two teams. Secret didn't win a tournament for the first time in like 7 months. Is that a Team Secret problem? What went on there? Did you watch those games?
It's not a Team Secret problem.
It's not a Team Secret problem?
Secret.
Can you lose
It's a Team Liquid being super dope problem. That's what it is, Joey.
But they lost to Mud Golems, okay?
So they won the tournament. They beat Mud Golems initially.
Excuse me. What I want to say is, but Secret also lost to Mud Golems. To stick on them for a second. But
I mean, hey, Mud Golems, good team. Liquid, great team. And Secret, how many times do you have to win before it gets old? I think at some point in time, the thing is, I don't think Secret comes to all of these tournaments and is like, fucking, we're gonna fucking win this one, full try hard. They're doing all of their research. They're practicing super hard. Like, I don't think that's Secret. I think that Secret is just comprised of individuals whose floor is exceptionally higher than most other teams' ceiling. So, finally some teams were able to make their ceiling go higher than Secret's floor. And Liquid and Mud Golems were two of those teams.
Dude, if you show that bracket to anyone who didn't watch but kind of have a vague idea of what's going on, it's like, why is the winners final Mud Golems and Na'Vi, and who beats Secret, and why is the lower bracket Nigma, Liquid, OG, and Alliance? Everyone's like, what the fuck's going on here? This is the first thing that Liquid group has won since they were on Alliance and won the Summit before TI9. Mm-hmm. And really, it's the first time that group has ever won a Tier 1 event. Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was super. Are you going to put an asterisk on that? They beat Secret, goddammit. Like, you're going to put an asterisk on that?
No. You cannot put an asterisk on this event whatsoever. But I will say, God help me if they didn't win this one. If they didn't win this one, okay, so look at their road was not hard. The road was not easy by any means. Their group stage, they had to beat Na'Vi and Mud Golems, who obviously were good
2 and 3.
Yeah,
in the tournament.
They managed to beat those teams in the group stage. They go on, they lose to Mud Golems in the upper bracket playoffs, 2-1, rough. But they go on to beat Nigma, they beat Viking GG, they beat Secret. Once you've beaten all those teams, you deserve to win everything. But then the final two teams, when I look at the final 2 days and I see all the teams that they've beaten, and then I see the teams looking forward, Mud Golems and Na'Vi, after you've just beaten Secret, Viking GG, and Team Nigma, I'm like, for God's sakes, please, Liquid, you have to pull this one off. If any tournament is yours, it's this one at this point. I don't care if you're in the lower bracket. You're the favorites at this point.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've gotten to watch Dota and also feel really invested in a team or excited for a team or a certain run. And I mean, yes, we were watching it on the company Slack channel and being like, oh, this is so exciting. But also just the whole lower bracket one was exciting because, I'm friends with these people. And also it's, the games were fun to watch too. There was a lot of really stupid games. The amount of times that Mickey, ill-advised, jumped high ground thinking that he wouldn't die and then proceeded to die and then, made a game last 10 minutes longer. That happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I did the team actually called Mickey their MVP, apparently. So I did the podcast with Blitz, and he said that they all agreed internally that Mickey was the guy. And apparently, man, between Insani and Mickey, they just adopted this mindset, which I think is so important for TI specifically, because we've seen exactly what happens with OG. It's the no fear mentality, of playing to win, no fear, go out there, get some kills, take some objectives, and they adopted that mentality and it won them a tournament. And I think that is very, very good for their future whenever TI happens, because I think that's the kind of mentality you have to have if you want to win a TI. You want to place top 8, just be really good and be ahead of the meta and get really lucky and top 8, no problem. But if you really want to win TI, like you have to actually be able to throw caution to the wind. You can't be a secret.
You can't be
you can't be a our floor is going to be higher than their ceiling. You got to be an OG and shoot for the fucking stars.
Yeah, I think Mickey probably was the MVP. Even though Insania is the person who has a Mercedes now, which I can't wait to ask him. What the fuck do you actually do with that, dude? Also, Team Liquid, sponsored by Honda. I remember there was conversation about like all the role swapping that they were doing, and then there were multiple games where just Boxy played 2 and 3 and 4 mid Death Prophet, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing? You're playing against. Like, I'm watching them with minimal fate. I'm like, I know Boxy is incredibly good in all these games, but like, is his mid Death Prophet really the thing that this team needs to do right now? And it worked sometimes. Like,
yeah, I think Boxy has proven. Boxy was actually the player when they were old Alliance and stuff. Boxy was actually the player that I was curious about him, and I would follow him because he was an offlaner. But I simultaneously thought that he was back then I thought he was the player that I would like, okay, if I want to take this team to the next level, who am I replacing? Right? There's always that question. When you look at a 5-man stack from the outside, not from the inside, but from the outside, and you look at what those players do inside of the game, then you usually have somebody like the old VP. When I said if they're going to replace anybody on that old VP roster, when they brought in Roger, it would be Lil or Pasha. Because I think the other 3 were indispensable. And when I look at Alliance, I thought Boxy was that person who was replaceable. And over the last like year and a half, man, he has just been incredible. And I think he's rapidly gone into like possibly like, I think he's probably in my list of like top 3 offlaners because his unique style plus versatility of being able to play 2 and 4 whenever needed is like such a valuable asset. I think he's really an incredible player.
Watching both Taiga and Insania too throughout the tournament was pretty wild from a support POV. It seems like they were pretty much firing on all cylinders at all points in time. Taiga was doing stupid stuff on Earth Spirit and basically any hero that he was given. And I don't know if anyone can claim to be a better Oracle player than Insania at this point out of the games that I've seen. It makes no sense to me how that man is literally perfect with all of his false promises all the time.
Yeah, I think that this whole squad is like, you take us down 2-3 years. I know some pros are already considering retirement because of Corona and stuff like that, right? It's like, how long until TI actually shows up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there was a couple players who like took a break because of that, right? And if those sort of signs are beginning to show up, like you just give it another 2 years, and I think you're going to start seeing some players be like, well, I've won enough money. I don't need to keep this going any longer. And you're going to see some players drop off or start losing interest. Even if they are playing, maybe they're not the same that they once were. And I seriously believe that this Liquid team is going to get into an era of dominance at some point in time. At some point in time, they're going to become the secrets.
I think they're all really hungry. Like in short of what you're saying, I think that, I don't know how many teams are working like they are right now in the COVID era too. So not only are they like playing really well, I think that they're really hungry, which is something that a lot of people might be missing or complacent on. And if they can keep that while the people do it, I'm really excited to continue to watch them grow. And I think that's a little bit of a shame. And I know that there's like an implicit bias here, like that they weren't on stage or there weren't more eyes on them because they were playing so rad and like their story's so cool that I feel like this win probably deserved to garner them more fans than they currently have. I still think it's wild that if you look at Boxy's Twitter, Taiga's Twitter, like they're remarkably small compared to other players, even Insania's. If you compare it to other Dota pros, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, people only care TI, and these guys haven't had a good position in TI yet, right? So
True.
like they failed to qualify the first year, the second year they have that unfortunate best of one that occurred. So it's like they're not going to garner a whole lot of fans until they actually do well at TI, and then people will actually start. But I think that this team is like, they're so young and so talented that these players, like they're the next, like some of these players are going to be on the next Secret. 2-3 years down the line, more people start retiring, they get more experience under their belt, their floor becomes a lot higher just due to practice and history and stuff like that. Then these guys certainly have what it takes to be. And I think the hunger specifically for this event is a good point, just because if you look at the top teams there, I think all of those teams were very hungry. Navi, even though they are a sponsored team, they are a team that is relatively new. I'm not going to say young, because they're not. Always Want to Fly.
Always Want to Fly is like, he could be my grandpa.
Yeah, that man has been playing Dota fucking constantly, and I think it's really cool that he is still reaching new peaks. But apparently, he was talking about retiring. He's talking about retiring and managed to make grand finals of this event. So I don't know what his vision of the next 2 or 3 years is going to be. And then obviously Mud Golems has something to prove, right? That's a roster of, to some extent, rejects, right? Skeeter didn't make it on Crazy. 33 and Fada got kicked off of Alliance, and Alliance has since done very well for themselves. So I'm sure they have a lot to prove in that regard. Milan obviously has had a set of teams that have shown promise, but ultimately never really did a whole lot. I mean, he was on that Win and Rain roster that almost beat OG for the TI8 European qualifiers. 3-2 was the score of that. They were almost the ones to head to TI instead of OG, and how different the world would look if that had actually happened.
Yeah,
because at that point LGD probably wins back-to-back TIs. Maybe that's actually the storyline that happens, or maybe Kuro's the first to win too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's wild to I couldn't get over Mud Golems just like not having a logo on broadcast, or not even having a Wikipedia page, because like that feels so cool, for lack of a better word. It's like these guys, they're like, playing in, winners bracket finals, and their logo on the big set stage behind them, just the Dota placeholder logo. They don't got one. Like, there's a lot of people on Fiverr for $5 to just go make one, but they don't need one. They don't need a Wikipedia page. There's a bunch of people who are like really solid at Dota and are performing, right? Like, good for them. They beat Secret.
Very cool, but also like kind of sad. And we could have a team that good. We can have a team good on the level of Mud Golems, who got grand finals, or 5 Men, who has shown some decent placements in multiple tournaments. You could have Quincy Crew, who's dominating NA. Literally, if you want to get a sponsor that gets the exposure of a grand finals NA tournament, Quincy Crew is like a shoo-in. Like, you're just always going to be pumping out that name time in, time out. And somehow the ecosystem, the Dota 2 esports ecosystem, is not healthy or conducive enough to have team owners come in and sponsor these people. And that is concerning. That is very concerning.
It is. Wow. I lost my voice for a second.
I really hit you hard there. Jesus,
you hit me so hard I couldn't even
right to your soul.
I couldn't even respond. I feel like one of those smoking ads where I got like a hole in my throat now.
Hey, by the way, you want to lead into this, but into a lighter note. Did you see the plasma drama? You know about this?
No.
Okay. So there is a team in the BTS Summit right now. They're now called No Pangolier. but they were called Plasma Esports or something like that. And they were sponsored. Yes. And yeah, they were sponsored by this new org called Plasma. And Plasma 1337X. Yeah, I actually could not put. I was like, they didn't actually put Leet in their name, right? This isn't 2001. Like, surely that wasn't it. No, that was actually the name. So Plasma Leet. And the team owner, who seems to be a fucking whack job, he went out on Twitter to address the South American Dota 2 scene. And he starts it off with "Hey muchachos" or something like that. And he basically says that it's kind of weird. He starts by like complaining that North American players ask for too much. But then saying that South American players are undercutting NA, and that like Beast Coast or whatever like isn't paying their players nearly as much as they should be. NA players are asking for far too much, and you guys need to figure some shit out or something like that. Right? And then he follows up that video tweet with some written tweets, one of which has the term something like it was like it had like racist tones to it, of like, cheap South American labor, like some shit like that, right? And it was just like, all right, this is fucking weird. And as a result of that, BTS stepped in and said, "We absolutely do not accept this. You guys are going to get a forfeit for your series against Beast Coast." and the guys on that team were just like, "Well, we're getting paid like $200 a month each to try and hack some Vitaplur gum." Which you want to know their sponsors, Vitaplur gum. You want to know what that is, Joey?
I do. I'm infatuated. I'm listening to you, but I'm also looking at Plasma 1337X.
All right, so one of their sponsors is some noodle, some noodle thing, some cup of noodles thing, and the other sponsors is Vitaplur gum. It is rave supplement gum.
They got an IO website. Oh, that's what their logo looks like. E-Boost gum. Eliminates clenching. Contains grapefruit. Okay, you know what? I can see why
to prevent lockjaw. Like when you're having a good time.
My understanding, and I understand people normally say "my understanding" when they're about to talk about a personal experience and like pretend like they haven't. I've never done ecstasy. Let me be very clear about that. My understanding from working at an EDC, which I did once as ground control, which is one of the people who walks around to make sure that other people literally aren't dead, is that when you... have I ever told you about that?
No, you're going to have to tell me more after this. Keep going.
Is that, you take too much Molly and then you just can't open your teeth anymore because your jaw is clenched. You get lockjaw and you get really thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I know. That's all I know about ecstasy. And I think you like to kiss people, which was probably harder to do when your jaw's locked together. But
yeah, you can't get your tongue in there,
Yeah.
Well, you got to get some of that Vitaplur gum. God damn, they should sponsor this podcast.
Dude, I would chill the
crazy guy Plasma. Hit us up. So we'll hawk some Vitaplur gum right now.
Wait,
anyway.
So Vitaplur gum has 33 followers on Twitter, but Plasma 1337X has 10,400 followers on Twitter.
Oh yeah, if you look at that tweet, he deleted everything. Yeah, he like made those tweets, and then he did, and then he made some like fucking tweets about cheese, and then deleted all the tweets, and then changed Yeah. And then, you know what the funny part is that like that Twitter is like, because I just checked it just now, October 30th. Don't back down. What do you mean don't back down? You deleted all your tweets. That's like literally the epiphany. That's entirely backing down.
Hey man, don't back down. Drink water. Eat a salad. #smile. This person isn't. Is Plasma the person who's also making Vitaplur gum?
I assume, from my experience anyway, when it comes to these sort of team sponsors, because I did experience those way back in the day, is that typically the team owner has some sort of business connections with these sponsors. There's a reason why they've got these sponsors that they have, and it's usually because they have some sort of business. So if I had to guess, yes, absolutely, they're probably the person who is intimately connected with Vitaplur gum. And if I'm going to just take another little guess here, very likely what so many of these guys do is that they approach you with a sponsorship deal. They'll give you a number of how much you could make, and it's all based off of how many packs of X do we sell.
Yeah. Commissions aren't sponsorships.
Yeah. And so I'm going to take a wild guess that if No Pangolier didn't have that deal, they were probably offered a deal like that before they came around to, like, I think they were getting paid like $200, $250 a month per player. Something
I'm in the middle
that.
of ordering a pack of Vitaplur gum. If you keep vamping for a second. I shouldn't actually do this.
I'll roll into Molly later on tonight.
No, again, not me.
So tell me about your time checking up on people on ecstasy, rolling around on the ground during EDC.
Okay, I'll try and make this quick. I know we've been going on for a minute. I am not really a fan of rave culture, and it's not that I'm against the idea. Great, beautiful stuff with that hair clip cap. Anyone watching the video version, super into that. That's a kink, I think. Anywho, you'll have to look on YouTube to find out. I like EDM to some degree. I was never like, oh, dude, let's go to raves. I haven't done a lot of drugs. My drug use is pretty tepid and minimal. But I had the opportunity one summer to go work at an EDC, and I was super interested in it because of the production element and also just like the trip to Vegas and like everything. I wanted to go see like the spectacle.
That's the nerdiest thing you've ever said.
Thank you.
You wanted to check out.
Have you seen
this electronic dance festival? Because of the production.
Have you seen like pictures from that shit, dude? They have so many stages. The stages,
it is very good.
The stages are so cool. And I'm like, oh, dude, like I had a buddy who wanted to go do it. Like we were just going to go there, spend like 3 days, like work our tails off, like get paid to go, work and at the event. And a lot of people, when they work at EDC, they do it because they work 2 days and then they get to go to the show 1 day for free. And it's expensive to go there. I think it's like close to $1,000 to like get like a full weekend EDC ticket. So that deal for a lot of people is like a cheap way to like go rave responsibly for their wallet, right? But I wasn't doing that. I was just straight up going because I wanted to like for the experience of working there. We get there. God, I have so many shit stories from EDC. If you've ever been to EDC Las Vegas, you know that it's at the Las Vegas Speedway, or was. And when you arrive, the parking there is the worst thing in the world. It's like if you're going to Dodger Stadium or any major sporting event, but instead of multiple exits, there's just basically one. So you file into EDC. It's a shit show to get in. It's completely messy to get in, and then we get there, and we got in a day before to do training, and basically our training for our job was to just be people who make sure others don't die. And there's a couple different shifts involved with that. There's walking around in pods, checking on people, and basically we're trained to be like, if you see someone sleeping, make sure they're sleeping and not dead, and don't let anyone sleep. Also, we're like resources because we have walkie-talkies and connection back to like the actual medical tent and other people. So that, sometimes people would come to us and be like, hey, do you like have water? Hey, my friend needs help. Like, we're there to be a resource for anyone who wants to use it, right? So we would probably spend, I don't know, like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours walking around in these little pods, checking all the different stages, walking through the crowds, just like checking on people, observing people. And then you'd swap to other duties. So like you would do that for a couple hours, and then for the next hour, like you would have to go through all of the porta potties and make sure no one's dead in a porta potty. Which, if you want to talk about something that is just that is just completely uncomfortable to be doing, it's making sure it's like opening every one that's unlocked to make sure that no one's passed out in a porta potty. Or like sometimes people would be like, in there with the door locked. So like you would kind of knock and then like wait for like an occupied or something. So full well that there's people waiting for some of these bathrooms, and some of them are occupied, and there's like a line of people. But we're still going through like knocking on them, being like, hey, you're not dead, right? Cool, have a good time. Incredibly uncomfortable. Like I've never felt more socially awkward in my life, and I feel socially awkward all the time. But we're going through those bathrooms and being like, "Hey, is anyone dead in here?" And then you open the door, and then you do see someone like asleep on the shit, or like with their pants down around their ankles, and you're like, "Well, this is just uncomfortable because now I have to be like, hey,
nice and shiny,
you up? You okay?" And then the third job that we would do on rotation, and this is the one that we actually spent the majority of time doing, is they have water stations, which is basically just giant, how like sinks sometimes at restaurants have like those giant big like gooseneck handles that are coming out from the ceiling, hooked up to like fire hydrants, and there'd be like maybe 10 spigots and one person on every spigot, and just a never-ending line of people coming for you to fill up their water bottles. And so for hours on end, I would just stand there just filling up water bottles and listening to the music and watching people who were just completely fucked up. And it was fun because there's like a certain line of like enjoying everyone else being so inebriated that it's just like kind of like joyous for yourself too. Like you get like a
I love people watching that. I love watching people just be fucked up.
Yeah, I feel like it almost enhances your mood too, like because you're seeing everyone else just be happy, and you're just naturally happy at yourself, and it puts you in a better mood. And people are so nice to you because they're so fucked up, and they're like, "Oh, dude!" Like a lot of people want to like give you candy bracelets and stuff.
People are a lot more free in that regard, and that they're not like like normal people watching. A lot of people are like very guarded because they know they're in public. They're aware of certain societal standards. But once people get a little fucked up like that, they start losing all of those. And they just go and be themselves, and it's a lot more interesting to watch than normal people watching.
Yeah. So I filled up a lot of water bottles, and that was kind of my, and like an EDC runs overnight, right? So like we're doing a graveyard shift of getting there at sundown and leaving at sun up, and just spending most of the day on the feet, like in a dusty sand bowl, filling up water bottles, dealing with people who are like mostly fun, but also like sometimes kind of wild. And it was a good time for 2 nights. I think 2 nights was good. The third night it was just slave work. And I didn't go do it any other years after that. But it was definitely a fun experience. I think that maybe I would actually enjoy to go to like a festival for like a day and do mild drugs. I think I took away that like that could in theory be enjoyable, but overall, like positive experience, weird experience. I don't quite understand people still though who were like really big into the culture, like go to raves every year.
So you're not going to Burning Man anytime soon?
Burning. I have a lot of friends who go to Burning Man.
I've always been like, if I could just take a helicopter to go to Burning Man, I probably would, just because I'm so curious about it. But like everything that I've heard around everything surrounding Burning Man and getting into it and getting out of it just sounds terrible.
Also, it's so dirty. It's like on salt flats in dust, and everything is just fucking. I don't think I can handle the literal layer of soot the entire time you're there that covers everything. I have a lot of friends who go there and like they have a lot of fun. They're like, oh, it's so free. I'm just here. I'm dancing. I'm meeting people. Everyone's high. It's great. There's like orgy tents and like really cool art and like, you know, I like part of me also just wants to go because of like, I guess like a YOLO mentality of like, you know, we only live once, right? Like we should probably go to Burning Man. It might be interesting. We should probably go to EDC. It might be interesting. But then I take a step back and I'm like, but do you really want to do that, or do you just want to kind of play Dota and like, you know, get high and masturbate at home and then just like call it a day, right?
That's a lot easier.
It really
and probably more fun. You won't be building any memories about it like you will about Burning Man and how miserable you are or something like that. But you know,
I don't like going to the beach, Austin. Like I do not like going to the beach because I hate having sand in and around me for the rest of the day. Like I hate sand. So the idea of going to Burning Man and being
around all that calm down there, Anakin. Jesus.
Dude,
you know, I actually had a flashback while you're talking about that. We actually share an experience in that regard. I too remember being in charge of checking porta potties.
No way.
Yeah, for Suicide Watch. That's a thing.
That's terrifying.
So I was like, you told me that, and I was like, I kind of had the flashback. And I was just like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. So we could bond over that. We both have been in charge of checking porta shitters for dead people.
What a weird thing on the bingo card to check off. It's like white, millennial, Dota, knocked on porta potties to make sure people aren't dead. Like it just naturally fits in the sequence, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's diagonal right across the board.
Dude, oh man.
White is the free space.
Just a straight white male just right there in the middle. Man. It's what hopefully you know, hopefully people are listening to this. Some people are listening to this on Tuesday in America. It's election day. Hopefully they voted. And
please get this over with.
And hopefully we
the
were
election,
able to,
not the podcast.
Hopefully we were able to provide some people with some kind of classic side pole debauchery. And I know that we're all over the place. I know that we have pent up stuff from last week. I still have a list of things to bring over to even the next episode because there's still things because stuff happened.
You mean the episode that I ditched out on because I totally forgot?
See, now
Joey did a very nice podcast thanking everybody. I was not there because I totally forgot. Joey messaged me that night. I said okay, and then I just never showed up.
See, now I think that this speaks a lot to Cap's credence or like Cap as a person, because I didn't once not hold this over. I was not going here with the bit. This is an admission and not me trying to lead a horse to water, right?
I put my fuck ups there. Most 95% of my fuck ups I'm very, very public with. There's 5% that I hold to my goddamn grave, but the 95% I throw them out there for everybody to get a laugh at.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, there was that episode. I believe I said in it that like Cap just wasn't here, wasn't available. We would explain next time or something. But really, that's what you said. What happened was it was really episode 50 or 52, depending on how you're counting. And I'm like, well, I can just say something nice for 5 minutes and pretend like I'm doing a public service by doing a short podcast. So if there was ever a day for the stars to align, I think that there was a good excuse created from it.
Yeah, you did a very good job. You did a very good job covering my ass and not showing up for the show.
To be fair, though, I also messaged you about it super late. And you were
again,
streaming.
Joey, I'm not getting hired for anything. I'm not doing anything.
I could have texted you. I could have called if I wanted.
True.
That probably would have been weird. You would have been like, is this an emergency? Why is Joey calling? It's a podcast emergency, motherfucker. But yeah, there was some stuff. If people missed that, there was some updates in there in the sense that thank you for being with us through 50. I we both mean that. We did reward people in the guild, like we said we're going to for the battle pass. The guild does still exist. It's platinum tier, which I think is lucrative to some people, but I'm sure that just means it's actually kind of pretty easy to get. And I am going to be actively removing people and searching for people who want to play games in North America in that community. I know that there's like probably half of the people in the guild I've played games with at some point. Probably like 10 people I've played a lot of games with. And I know there's a lot of people who were just like kind of there and either like across the globe or just wanted to, potentially win some money, which is totally fair. But I would like to try and curate the Side Pull Guild to be a group of people who are actually interested in like playing Dota with each other, which means that there's going to be some people coming out and some people coming in. And if I do boot you out and you're like, wait, I actually do want to play games with people, message me. I'll fix that fuck up. And preemptively sorry for anyone who feels that I got rid of them unrightfully. If you feel that, please talk to me about it, because you could just come back in if that's the case.
You're so much nicer than I would. I mean, I'm not even in the guild, so already you're nicer than me. But if I was in your position, I would have just said, thanks for 50. Now get the fuck out.
I think that the thing is, like, I know that there's like a core group of people there. There's probably about 10-ish people who like really enjoy playing games together and like have definitely been excited. And I would love to be able to give that experience to more people who want it, and not be too much of a dick about it. So I'm just gonna fucking boot people.
It's so good that we finally have the technology in 2020 to have guilds in Dota.
Right?
Imagine if that had been there 8 years ago. And at Dota's climb upwards, probably would have prevented people from rage quitting the game because they had a group of friends to play with.
That's the thing. I play more Dota when I have people to play with. That's my entire situation. I'm way more willing to play Dota unless I'm like solo queuing, grinding ranked, which is a special type of like wild that you have to be inside your brain, a special type of broken. It's just better to play with people. So. Check the Side Pull Guild this week. Thank you for being with us at 50. Thank you for voting if you did that. Thank you, Cap, for showing up tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, I did it.
I know, right?
Bare minimum achieved.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week to talk about some new NA teams and some everything else we didn't get to. And until then, fucking do the things that we ask you to do, like follow the podcast or watch on YouTube or tell a friend. If you tell one friend who plays Dota about the podcast and be like, hey, this is good, like that's all I could ask for. Maybe send me a shirt that has sleeves on it. It's getting kind of chilly.
Yeah, I seem to be out of those lately.
I seem to be really out of those lately. I'm just busting through them.
Sorry, I'm just in the middle of workout right now. Guess I'll take these workout gloves off.
I'm going to send you a picture of myself. I'll make sure that I tastefully cross myself so you don't see any real nudity. But I will be naked. And all
right, I'm looking forward to seeing your 4 abs.
Yeah, and you can tell me on the next episode if I can claim to have abs or not.
All right.
Dude, that's what they call a bookend. We started and ended on the same thing. Isn't that great? That's a literary device, motherfucker. Keeping the people here.